All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about those first few weeks on a new game server, that brutal, chaotic, and absolutely make-or-break period called Pre-Conquest. It's a time when entire communities are either forged in fire or they just completely collapse into ash.
And wow, this quote from a veteran leader named Koya just hits you, right? It perfectly sets a stage. This isn't just about who has the best troops or the most resources. Nope. This is about human nature, it's about ego, and it's about the very high-stakes game of leadership before the real war even kicks off.
So to really get why it's so dramatic, we first have to understand the environment itself. What exactly makes this early game battleground so intense?
Think of a pre-conquest server as the Wild West. Seriously, there's no established order, no powerful alliances from other servers to call for help. It's this self-contained little pressure cooker where just a handful of early decisions can literally determine everything. The success or failure of the entire server rests completely on the shoulders of brand new leaders and their fragile, budding communities.
And this brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. Every single new server is standing at a crossroads, and there are two very different paths it can go down. One path leads to a booming community that's totally ready for conquest, and the other, well, that one leads to a ghost town.
So, what's the difference? What separates the servers that make it from the ones that crash and burn? It almost always boils down to a few key behaviors and attitudes. Let's dissect the anatomy of what makes a server rise versus what causes its downfall.
You know, what's so fascinating here is how personal all of this is. On the left, you see success is built on things like unity and respect. When leaders can put their egos aside and actually value every single player, even the free-to-play guys, they build a rock-solid base. But on the right, that's where it all goes wrong. Ego-driven leaders, top players just preying on weaker ones for easy resources, broken promises. It creates this toxic sludge where even the biggest spenders, the whales, just get fed up and quit. And once they leave, you're looking at a total morale collapse. Game over.
Okay, so knowing the pitfalls is one thing, but actually avoiding them, that's a whole different ballgame. So let's check out some hard-won advice from our expert, Koya, who's been navigating these treacherous waters for over a year.
And this, right here, this is the playbook. It's all about playing the long game. Step 1, don't chase power. Yeah, grabbing that throne early might feel awesome for a minute, but all it really does is paint a giant target on your back and create enemies. Step 2, build on trust. Alliances based on fear, they're brittle. They'll shatter. But alliances built on mutual respect, they can survive almost anything. And maybe the most important point of all, step 3, remember, conquest is coming. Everything you're doing right now, every single action, is just laying the foundation for the real fight that's on the horizon.
This quote just hammers it home, doesn't it? Pre-conquest isn't just a warm-up. It's the period where the entire culture of your server gets written in stone. And if that culture is toxic, if that foundation is cracked from the start, it doesn't matter how many powerful players you have. The whole thing is just destined to crumble.
Which of course leads us to the big, practical question. It's easy to sit here and talk about what not to do, but how do you actually proactively build that solid foundation? Especially when everything around you is pure chaos.
Well, it turns out our expert Koya didn't just give out advice. He went and built a tool that puts all these principles into practice. We're going to take a look at it, kind of like a case study. It's a real, tangible example of how you can bring order to all that chaos using a specialized template.
So at its heart, it's basically a pre-built, expertly structured Discord server. But really, it's so much more than that. It's a blueprint specifically designed to solve those very problems of ego and disorganization we've been talking about. It gives new leaders a solid organizational framework right from day one.
And here's where the principles turn into actual features. You've got systems for jumper management. That's a way to coordinate big groups of players to all start on a new server together with an advantage, which builds unity from the get-go. But check this out, a leak-proof leadership design. What does that really mean? It means creating private, secure channels where leaders can actually debate strategy without causing a huge public panic or drama. It's a system literally built to contain conflict before it starts. See? Every single feature here is a direct answer to a problem that could sink a server.
Now, a pro-level solution like this is obviously an investment, but looking at how it's structured is really insightful. You've got options for the whole setup, custom changes, and even full-time maintenance. What this tells us is that for the people who are serious about this, successful server leadership isn't just some casual hobby. No, it's treated like a real project, one that requires dedicated tools and support just to make sure that foundation is absolutely rock solid.
So let's bring this all home. As we wrap up, let's circle back to that central idea. It doesn't matter if you use a pre-built system like the one we just looked at, or if you apply these principles to build your own thing from scratch. The core takeaway is exactly the same. The foundation is everything.
And for anyone who's really interested in a deeper dive into this kind of professional approach to community management, Kayoya actually offers direct consultations. It's a pretty fascinating glimpse into how these high-level strategies are actually put into action on the ground.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Whether you're a player or you're trying to be a leader, take an honest look at your own service community, at its leadership, at its culture. Is its foundation built on trust and a shared vision, or can you already see the cracks starting to form? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.